Tim, you've seen the coolers with wheels, right?
The butt snorkeling?
The butt snorkeling?
No, is that not right? I don't know. I don't
what
know.
the fuck is butt snorkeling?
I got confused.
Hey, everybody, I'm Cam Kasky.
And I'm Tim Miller, and this is FY Pod, where we talk about young people, things, and stuff with one old man and a couple of younger gentlemen. And today, the gentleman is Jreg. We have a mutual friend, JJ McCullough, who's like, You have to talk to my friend Jreg. And I have to tell you, what I know about you is what I've learned through watching like 4 videos. And so I'm coming in blind. I trust JJ implicitly. And so like, just whatever. Let's see how it goes.
I also trust JJ implicitly. Whatever he tells me to do, I do. I don't think about it. I don't really have an internal monologue when it comes to JJ. I just, he overrides.
It's kind of like a Dom-sub relationship a little bit.
Some might say that. JJ McCullough. He's
a Canadian YouTuber. You're also Canadian, right?
Yes, it's a mafia. It's kind of a Canadian mafia situation.
JJ McCullough is a kind of a centrist Canadian YouTuber who does a lot of like cultural YouTubes about like, flags and strange strangest foods you would have in a country and like fast food logos. Like he does that, but he also does centrist pilled political commentary. So obviously,
that's very interesting to me because Jreg, what I know about you is our producer said he watched your videos and thought that they were really funny. And I checked out your Instagram and I saw a picture of you. We're going to throw it on screen right now, dressed like a clown. And I also know that you are running for mayor.
I ran for mayor of Ottawa. I'm done with that shit.
How did you do? How did you finish?
So I won. But unfortunately, the lizard people in charge, they kicked me out. They did a coup against me, so I crowned myself unofficial anarcho monarch of Ottawa, Ontario. But
it was cheating. Was it a stop the steal situation?
It was it was a stop the steal, but this time it was real, and it was for me. So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, definitely have some questions there. We'll get back into the clown mayor thing, but before that, Tim was just mentioning you guys were friends with this centrist guy. I did see somewhere that one of the primary targets of your satire is centrism. Would you say that that's an accurate statement?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. My whole thing is it was anti-centrism. Now I go through different eras on my channel because I can't focus on things very long. So I switch it up. So right now I'm on my anti-robot movement, but yeah, historically I keep it with me,
Against the clankers. Okay. Yeah. So can we, so just give us a little bit of like, what is your channel? Who are you? Like, did you what were some of your interests in high school? Did you come out of your mother's womb or just sort of appear in Ottawa?
Every time someone asks, who are you? I have like a psychotic break. So, you said you saw 4 videos, and like I think that's sort of the way I operate online. Is no one has time to watch, and I say so many contradictory things in the videos that like everyone ends up having a sort of a different, little scoop of.
Well, self-actualize then. Rather than having a meta conversation about what other people think of you, what do you think of you?
No one's ever asked me that before. What do I think of me? So my identity has been completely subsumed by the internet, and I don't have an internal personal identity anymore. I simply exist as a sort of fractal, an optical illusion, kind of a Mandelbrot test. And that's the way I feel most comfortable existing because it alleviates me from the responsibilities of all the horrible things I've said.
What are some horrible things that you've said?
Well, I don't know. I need to know. I need to know what things that you would find are reprehensible, and then I could probably pull that up.
We have a pretty high tolerance for reprehensible on the show. We've said some things that other people would deem reprehensible, but what would you say you think to be the least charming representation of your own values?
Like if we were to say, Jreg, right now I have this video of you of saying this and I'm going to put it up on the screen, what would be the one video that you're like, please don't let it be that?
It's probably when I interviewed JJ McCullough. He's a centrist, and too many people came away from that conversation thinking that he was right. So I think that's done bad for the world. Obviously my job is to encourage as many radicals as possible. That was a misstep. I feel great shame about that.
So it seems as though you are striking the balance that many satirists have to strike in life, which is figuring out when you are doing your bit and when you are not doing your bit. And I've said that a lot of people in this life, not just satirists, but a lot of human beings, develop something of a shtick for themselves based on how they're perceived by others. And over time, it kind of compounds, and you get so bought into your shtick that suddenly the line between your bit and your emotional truth gets so blurry that you don't always know when you are being true to yourself and when you are being true to your character. So when we're talking about you running for mayor and you're talking about lizard people stealing the election, that seems like the bit was taking the wheel. Whereas in other instances, do you feel as though you ever have any space from the bit, or is it just bit?
Yeah. So I think, that's a very good point. And, you obviously, I think we're both Gen Z with this. That's kind of the premise of the show. A lot of Gen Z people, you'll see there's like all kinds of influencer people you can point to who are doing this post-irony shtick, where they like have their irony, and it's kind of, it's impossible to tell what they actually mean and what they believe, what they really believe. And, my artistic project is to sort of blend that as much as possible. However, obviously I have a community here in Toronto, and if I was acting that way around my friends, I think they would kill me. I think they would beat me to death. And I think that would be fair. I would be like, good job, guys, as they're beating me to death.
So as an earnest millennial who liked The West Wing, and just wants people to tell me what they really think, and who's inspired by radical candor, I get deeply uncomfortable right now. So now, like, I'm not even sure where to go with you.
Okay, you know what? I can for the rest of this interview, I'll be completely sincere.
Okay, I would love that. So explain to me why your peers, like, do some anthropology for me. Like, why are you succeeding on YouTube? Why do your peers like the post-irony bit? Like, why is it it's a reaction against their older siblings like me who were a little too cringe, or is there something more at play?
Yeah, well, I think there's something to be said about the Gen Z sort of viewing sincerity as weakness, and I think I think part of the commentary I try to do is show that it's important to be able to be sincere, and so I talk about something called irony poisoning, which is where irony becomes a sort of thing that you're not able to detach yourself from ever. I pretty sincerely just told you I'm gonna, because you were saying you don't know how to interface with the bit, so I was like, okay, screw it, I can drop that. But I think a lot of people, they don't know how to drop it. They don't know how to use it as a tool anymore. So I'm using irony as an artistic tool to create certain optical illusions. But I think it's also very important to be able to learn how to drop that in. And so if it's sort of like if I have a hammer, is the hammer melded to my hand or not? And so to be able to take the hammer off, use a different tool sometimes, that's kind of important. It's something you learn as you.
But is this a trauma response? Not to sound like a fucking lib, but what is underneath?
Can I get my therapy from
what is underneath
this conversation?
What's underneath the post irony appeal? I
think a lot of irony poison Zoomers I think there's a lot of things to care about when you're a young person online. And there's just no way to everything's so serious. And,
it's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. It's hard. So it's I think you need some sort of way to detach yourself from all the things that are happening. I mean, again, I don't think I'll ever be able to capture why people get irony poisoned or why Gen Z uses irony, because it's such there's so many aspects to it. I can speak for myself though. And I do think it's kind of this is just an interesting, way to do commentary on political stuff and maintain different sorts of audiences simultaneously, because you're saying multiple things at the same time that appeal to different people who would otherwise hate each other. So, I don't know.
Cameron, what do you think about that? I mean, you worked with the Birds Aren't Weedle guy, and you're irony pilled a little bit. What do you think explains the trend?
Jreg's correct to say that there's a bunch of different angles through which you can view this. Birds Aren't Real was very much powered by the sense of community. If you're the type of person who found that funny, then a like-minded individual who was also bought into that shtick, you speak to a similar sensibility, and people are really looking for that type of community right now. So being able to find other people who find this farcical, wacky thing to be amusing, well, suddenly you have something to talk about, and it's something where you need to be a specific type of person to connect with it. Something like Jreg style irony, clown campaign for mayor lizard people. I think it is for the people who engage with it and the people who participate in creating it, I think it's very much a defense mechanism, because one of the ways that we deal with the cruelty of reality is by detaching ourselves from reality as a whole. Because if we can consider ourselves above the sort of inhibitions of having to live in the real world, and if we can elevate ourselves into this plane that is divorced from reality, suddenly we don't feel so bogged down by the trappings of this very, very dark reality. It's like, are you familiar with daddyism or whatever the fuck it's called?
Dadaism, yeah.
Daddyism? I mean, I have heard about that at the gay bar a few times. Sometimes people are starting to say that I'm into daddy. I'm part of daddyism now. I'm a daddy against my will now, apparently, at the gay bar.
I hold space for that truth. We hold so much. We hold the whole galaxy for that truth. Dadaism, and Jreg, correct me if I'm wrong, is just sort of this abstract form of engaging with larger cultural performance art.
Dada, like the art.
Yeah, Dadaism.
Got it. Okay.
Daddyism.
Sorry, it took me a minute. I
wish it was daddyism.
There's a sense of nihilism there. I don't think it's like black pill nihilism. I think it's more artistic than that, and it's a form of expression. But I do think that there's something young people connect to about the idea of, instead of surrendering to this very, very uncomfortable and the world that bogs us down and makes us devalue ourselves, we say, okay, you know what, world? I am going to say fuck you to the world. I'm going to stick it to you by engaging with a completely farcical, nonsensical view of the world, because now I don't have to accept the fact that life kind of sucks. Jreg, would you say that I've got a decent idea of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what you're saying, the contours of it, there is very true. I think there's other ways that this kind of stuff is applied and used, but I think that's a big part of it. Like what you're describing is like a very big part of it, for sure.
Hey everyone, FY Pod is sponsored by OneSkin. Look, everyone needs a skincare routine, and you should not be neglecting your face. Friends do not let friends go without a skincare routine, which is why I'm peer pressuring many of my friends into using OneSkin. I have a skincare routine of my own. I totally put on sunscreen all the time. I never neglect to do that. You know, I'm pale, so I should be putting sunscreen on or else I'm going to age poorly. OneSkin has become part of my own daily routine. Their proprietary OS01 peptide is the first ingredient proven to switch off the damaged senescent cells that cause lines, wrinkles, and thin, crepey skin. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are certified safe for sensitive skin, dermatologist tested, and approved by independent testing platforms like SkinSafe. Founded and led by an all-woman team of skin longevity scientists, OneSkin's products are backed by extensive lab and clinical data to validate their efficacy and safety on all skin types. They've got over 6,300 five-star reviews for their full line of face, body, sun, and travel-size products. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. For a limited time, you can try OneSkin with 15% off using the code FY Podcast at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with the code FY Podcast. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you, and give your skin the scientifically proven gentle care it deserves with OneSkin.
I guess the only thing I'd add to that is, like, I think some of the farcical views of the world that emerge are based off of just like, how do young people get information? It's like online edutainment stuff. So it's like, if someone's like a lot of people got into politics for my content, and they look at my content, it's like a dopaminergic political compass, right? And so you look at that and you think, this is how politics works. It's not how politics works, obviously. It's much more about the local level and, these weird contradictions of the municipal race or whatever. But, you do get people into politics like that. And then their framework has sort of been immediately poisoned by this wretched chart. So, I think that's also part of it.
One more thing I would add to that is I think a lot of people further to the left and right are quicker to engage with stuff like this, because the idea of something so unserious being popular, like, what are the serious people doing? The serious people are Hakeem Jeffries pissing his pants trying to explain why he won't endorse Zohran Mamdani for mayor when the answer is he's taking AI PAC money. The serious people are the Democrats who are memeing their way through an authoritarian takeover that they cannot oppose with any meaningful opposition. Like, the people who are serious, the people who are qualified are not meeting the moment. And I think that there's a large cultural desire to do away with them because the understandings that we have of who is qualified to be a leader in our culture have given us these people who are so fucking flaccid and inert that we say, fuck the qualifications, fuck the Bain Consulting Ivy League pricks. Look where they've gotten us.
Yeah. And I to your point, I think that's why I'm not a nihilist. When I do this kind of stuff, there's everything I say has like this sort of truth I'm exaggerating. And so sometimes it's an emotional truth. Or
I'm sorry to just be like, so reductive, but like, to me, at the phones, like this comes down to the phones. I know the original Dadaists, Duchamp, Grouche, they didn't have any phones because the 1880s. Mm-hmm. But now, so maybe there's a through line. But I think that simultaneously, you guys have too much bad information being like you're bombarded with. Like, the human brain was not made to consume this level of bad information, like having to care about all of these things at once, like, and having to know what everybody's opinion is about everything at once. Like, we aren't wired like this. Maybe we will be wired eventually as we, reach the singularity. But like right now, we're not. And so I think that to your, when Cameron said defense mechanism, I don't know the exact right word, but like response mechanism to that is part of it. But then the other thing is you're getting all this information. So like, to Cameron's point about how the leaders are bad, like, too much about the leaders too. Like, too much about each other, and too much about the news, and you also know too much about the leaders, right? Like back in the day, if you grew up in the 70s, like the leaders weren't great. Like, they weren't exactly crushing it, in the 70s. But like, there was only the nightly news. You only learned about it an hour a day. Yeah. There was a lot of propaganda propping up what they were doing. And so, like, it's not like the leaders just got inert recently, but how inert they are has been projected into people's like conscious. I feel like a lot more intensely
by them, though. It's been projected into our conscious by them. Like, nobody forced Hakeem Jeffries to post a picture with a baseball bat as if that was going to make Gen Z men vote for Democrats again. Like, these people are begging us to disrespect them by going on these humiliation tours where I don't understand how young people are supposed to respect institutions. I mean, you talk about bad information and how we're getting so much bad information. What's the good information at this point? Like, the Republican guy on the Abby Phillips CNN debate show, like, espousing talking points that frankly don't even sound like Fox News. They sound like fucking Real America Now or whatever the fuck the far right people are watching. Like, forget bad information. What is information? What are we, except for Bulwark, which if you are watching this video, leave a comment down below what your favorite episode of FY Pod is.
Present
subscribe
company
to Bulwark.
Excluded.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Bulwark Plus. Bulwark Plus is a great subscription. I don't have it, but I should frankly get it for free.
I guess the good information would be like, I don't know, reading the newspaper, which is something that people did in 1974, where it wasn't everything in there wasn't perfect, but it was just a little more nuanced.
Yawn.
Yeah. Boring. So anyway, Jreg, what do you think? Is it the phones? Is this
I do think it's them damn phones. It's the kids these days.
Should we get rid of the phones?
Get rid of the phones.
The kids, the grown-ups aren't reading the newspapers anymore either.
No, the old people are the worst. They're not. They're just doing Facebook memes now. But what do you think? Should that be a sub-political culture for you? Just, you're doing anti-robot now. Maybe it should just be anti-phone.
So I know people wonder how thin to slice this bologna. Obviously I'm anti-clanker. If I see a robot walking around, I will hate crime it. Obviously, I'll smash its head in and take the brain out and put it into a simulation of pain because it's an abomination against God. But when it comes to phones, I kind of leave it more ambiguous. It's like, if to you a phone is a clanker, go smash it. But I'm not going to virtue signal and say I never use the I never use technology because we have to use technology in order to survive right now. So
stream.
It's kind of like that
stream or
leftist,
die kind of,
stream or die. Exactly. I mean, that leftist meme where it's like,
no, he doesn't.
Yeah, he wouldn't, right? You claim to hate society and yet you participate in it. It's kind of the same
I do know
thing.
that one.
Is that a leftist meme?
Yeah, well, because it's like critiquing the iPhone bad, Venezuela, million billion dead kind of vibe of like, oh, well, you claim to hate capitalism, but you use iPhone. Kind of the same thing with technology, except you claim to hate technology and yet you use technology. Wait, why is my package ticking? Kaboom! So yeah, that's kind of what what I think about that.
Yeah, it's as you're pointing out. By the way, I'm yes-anding you. It's different with a lot of the clankers. Another slur that we use here on FY Pod for them is spark donkeys.
Oh, I like that.
A lot of the spark donkey type stuff, like you don't need to order your fucking DoorDash from one of the machines where it's like one of those coolers with wheels that you see driving down there. Tim, you've seen the coolers with wheels, right?
The butt snorkeling?
The butt snorkeling?
No, is that not right? I don't know. I don't
what
know.
The fuck is butt snorkeling? There's these robots
Spark
on
jockeys.
There are these robots. Dante's going to throw a picture of one up right now.
Okay.
There are robots on wheels that will deliver food to people. And I see them in Los Angeles and they've got a camera and they're being operated by somebody. There's this like big depot at some university of people who are just sitting behind a computer and driving these robots around to do fucking DoorDash. And like, you don't need to participate in that kind of society. You don't need to be making, AI anime childlike girlfriends for yourself using Grok. Like there is a degree to which we can be shaming people for participating in something. Like an iPhone is how you participate in society, but many forms of technology and robotics right now, we can apply that shame to people and we can humiliate them the way that they deserve.
Hell yeah, brother.
Jreg, I want to ask you about, you mentioned it earlier. I guess maybe this is not true, so I don't know. You didn't really give a coherent origin story, which I like. It creates a man of mystery type.
I'm like the Joker, you see, from the movie Joker.
Got it. Which one? Who's your favorite Joker of all the Jokers?
The sad guy. The sad one.
Which one was the sad one?
The Joker that he only laughs because it's a mental disorder. That guy.
Is that the Joaquin Phoenix
one?
Joaquin Phoenix,
yeah.
One? Yeah, who's your favorite Joker?
My favorite Joker by far is Mark Hamill in the animated versions. Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, does an unfathomably. Have you seen?
We love Mark Hamill and honor him. He's a big supporter of the Bulwark, by the way. But come on, over Jack Nicholson, over Heath?
Yeah. Well, I think Heath Ledger's Joker is like an unbelievably captivating performance, top 10 movie performances of all time. But I'm such a big fan of the comic books that the way that Mark Hamill's Joker captures the essence of the character is so effective to me. Whereas Heath Ledger, I think of him as one of the best movie characters of all time, but I barely think of him as the Joker because he's very much not really married to the comic book character. But I guess the most...
You fucking kids don't know anything about Jack
Nicholson. The most
Nicholson.
visceral depiction of the Joker that impacted me the most as a movie character was Heath Ledger. Is that what you want me to fucking say?
I love getting yelled at by an old man, and it's so vindicating. This is why intergenerational relationships are so important. Yes, fuck dadaism. I'm on the daddyism arc now.
New name for FY Pod.
I want to ask you about the ideology ball. Speaking of daddyism,
yes.
And I think that was one of your things that got you in attention in the political internet. Maybe that's wrong.
Yeah,
but it was,
I'm sort of the progenitor of the ideology ball thing.
Progenitor of the ideology ball.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that. So people who don't know, one of the interesting things I wanted to hear you kind of analyze for us, in character or out, is about how Gen Z, like people that are very online and interested in politics, like the ideologies have been, you don't just have anymore. I am a neocon Republican and I am a neoliberal Democrat and I am a socialist. Like there's a lot of these subgenres and they build on each other and well, just talk about that whole concept.
So this is something you might like, Tim, is JJ's thinking about doing like a parody of of all the chart slop, like political compass stuff, where he says, okay, here's my theory of politics. So here you have the Democrats, and here you have this ideology called the Republicans, and there's just two bowls.
People love the charts. The kids love the charts. I love to rank things. I like to rank things. It's the thing that's the most Gen Z about me. I love to tier things. I'm all about tiers.
It stimulates your dopamine.
People like to take quizzes and see where their little dot is on the chart and see where they fit.
I think part of the tension between me and JJ ideologically is like, I'm very interested in in exploring new ways of political thought where people's heads are at in a very like kind of pure sense, kind of disconnected from the material situation of specific politicians. I'm like, okay, in an ideal world, what kind of things are people wanting and how that shifts over time? Because on the internet, and I'm much more focused on the internet than I am on like local municipal politics. Sometimes, this is where JJ balances me out. But like, I'm much more focused on like the abstract ideals. And so these political balls are ways of like encapsulating complex ideologies. Like, are you, maybe you're like a Catholic and you follow Catholic social teaching. So you're somewhat left wing economically, but you're still like a Catholic. So you're a little bit right wing culturally because you want things to like be cohesive. And there's all these there's thousands and thousands of these political balls, everything from Marxist Leninism to stuff people make up like a narco fascist communo Nazbol, blah, blah, blah. And it's just
we had an anarcho-communist on our first FY Pod episode ever. Our first FY Pod episode was a military veteran, hot bisexual influencer who identifies as an anarcho-communist, and for that, you got to hand it to him.
Very nice. Wait, what was their name, may I ask? Because I might know them.
Dylan Geik.
Dylan Geik. Okay, I have to look into this.
I wonder how small that ball is. The militaristic anarcho-communist. Is that a big ball or a small ball?
How popular is the far right in Canada compared to the United States?
It's got, I think Canada tends to lag behind America, which is to say, like, far right, it'll come. I mean, it'll come anywhere, but. And
do you think their big thing is going to be immigration too? Because I do see conservatives in Canada pissed off about immigration. And
yes. So you get a lot of anti-Indian hate on the Canadian Twitter for the far right.
You get it here too.
Yeah, but I think it's especially Canadians because we have had something like that's been our top immigrant group for the last 6 years or so. So there's like that's kind of the backlash.
Are the Canadians exploring any new like slurs against the Indians? Are there any creative?
I've seen some new slurs. Yes,
you have. Do you want to rank them? You want to tier list them for us?
So look.